What's going on, everybody? You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about the coronavirus timeline. All right, I'm going to break down the coronavirus timeline. All right, you should find this pretty interesting as I break it down for those who are viewing the show and for those who are listening too, because I'm going to be reading things off. I'm going to be coming from the World Health Organization's PDF document, the situation report, and I'm also going to check out or show you guys a website that breaks down the timeline. You're going to see the discrepancies kind of in the timelines, but it should definitely give you a bigger picture or a better perspective on how this thing went down. All right. Also, what I'm going to do is show you guys two websites that you guys can go to. And for those who are listening to the show, I'm going to put you'll hear me give out the website information, but I will be putting everything in the description, whether you're watching me on video or if you're listening to the show. All right. So it's going to be two different websites that's going to give you a map of where the viruses are, where they have hit, and some real-time. Now, I think they're both real-time information. One might be a little bit faster on updating the information than others, but you'll definitely be able to look these up anytime you want and see different pieces of information as it relates to the coronavirus. All right. So with that being said, I want you guys to check out this video and let me know what you think. Put a comment in the description. For you guys who are listening on podcast platforms, if you're able to leave a comment, please do so, whether good or bad. I take it all in. Also, be sure to rate the show, rate any show that you guys listen to on the podcast listening platforms. And for those who are watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth, feel free to leave a comment, give a thumbs up, share the video, share the information. All right. So with that being said, let's check out the video. All right. You're rocking with the best, most definitely Thoughts of the Week. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome on this late night. Tonight, what I'm going to do is go over a timeline of events. And I don't know if they've been showing any of this regularly or at all. And you might have heard, there might have been people maybe showing it on Facebook. That I don't know. But I was originally going to do this on a laptop, but I don't know, something was acting weird with the live, so I decided to do it on the cell phone and go ahead and just scan the laptop for some viruses, which I don't think there aren't any, but I'm gonna let it do its thing. And decided to hit it from the phone. I had everything set up for you guys. And so what I'm going to do is just do this from the phone. I'm going to pull up some websites. I'm going to go over some stuff. And to see how things are going. Now, what I was originally, I still think the same. I'm still looking at it the same way. Let's just look at this thing from the standpoint of, look at it that you guys are the leaders of a country, or leader of your city, or the leader of your state. And, while we're looking at the timeline, we're just going to break some stuff down and, just give some commentary on it at the same time. Like I said, I'm going to be going from this document here, this PDF, the World Health Organization's novel Coronavirus 2019 NCOV situation report. And then I'm going to go to
I might be going back and forth from time to time, switching back and forth. But to another timeline, actually from a website. And we're just gonna go ahead and just break some stuff down. All right. So as I get ready to minimize myself here real quick, let's see. There we go. So let's take a look at this timeline real quick. All right. Let's take a look at this real quick. All right. So, summary event highlights from December 31st, 2019 to January the 20th. So that's just this between, as it says here, December 31st, January 20th. And it looks as though, actually I was looking up, researching some other things as well, and it appeared that this might have been even as early as December the 15th, possibly. Like I said, I was looking something up and I was trying to find that. And I can't remember where it was, but I think I remember seeing December 15th. Now, you guys stand by for a second here. I just want to make sure this, I'm looking at my monitor. I'm just making sure that this is coming in clearly, and it doesn't appear to be doing so. So just give me a sec. It showed clear for a second and then it didn't. So I don't know what's up. So let me just move something around for a second and then see what happens here. All right. If things don't clear up, what I'm going to do is redo this. I'm going to go back to the laptop in a little bit and then we'll get this started again. But we'll see here in a minute. See, a couple of people have come in, so appreciate y'all. Now it clears up when I move it. I see that. So let's see if it maintains its look. All right. So I'm gonna go on real quick and then we'll see if it stays. But anyway, December 31st, 2019, the World Health Organization China Country Office was informed of cases of pneumonia, unknown etiology, unknown cause, detected in Wuhan City, Hubei province of China, from the 31st of December 2019 through January the 3rd, 2020. A total of 44, no problem. A total of 44 case patients with pneumonia of unknown etiology. You're welcome, Nancy. Appreciate it. Of unknown etiology were reported to the World Health Organization by national authorities in China during this reported period, and casual agent was not identified. All right. This is, by the way, you guys can probably Google this. It's the World Health Organization's, as you see the title here, Novel Coronavirus 2019. There's a situation report. Just type that in, and at the end of it, put a PDF. And PDF should hopefully pop up, and y'all can research and look at that on your own as well. All right, so let's see. During this reported period, the casual agent was not identified. All right. Now, again, like I said, look at this as if you are the leader or governor, president, mayor. Look at it as if you're running a business and you have several employees. All right. And you're receiving this, you're finding out this information. And just think about what is it that you would do once you receive this information. All right. And there's a reason why I'm saying this, because now it's starting to slowly come up. I don't know why I hadn't before or earlier. The questions are starting to pop up as to why 45 waited so long. And of course, some people are suggesting that he knew about this information a lot earlier. Now, I think y'all seen a previous video of mine here on my page where I mentioned you guys might know Dr. Fauci, and I was mentioning that he was saying some stuff probably 2 or 3 weeks ago when they started getting on TV a little more regularly. Well, I watch it on YouTube anyway. I don't really watch the TV too tough like that. I just from YouTube. I don't know why this thing is showing blurry on my other phone here. Like I said, I might just I might just cancel this and redo it on the laptop because it's looking blurry. I want you guys, from what I'm seeing, I don't know if you guys are able to see it clearly on your screen, but I'm looking at the monitor of my other phone or the screen of my phone, and it's not showing clear on there for whatever reason. Only when I start moving the screen, then it'll clear up. But once it settles, then it kind of blurs back out for some reason. So I'm going to tell you what. All right, cool. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it is on my other phone. But all right, if it's clear, that's cool. I'll keep going then. I appreciate that. And you're getting this information. He's probably telling and not making a move on the information. Also, I was reading something not too long ago, maybe yesterday, something about that he had apparently gotten rid of his pandemic team some time ago. That's kind of odd too. Now, there's another thing that came to mind too that I wanted to bring up and mention as well. And that is also on top of looking at it like you're the leader in charge, right? Take a look at it as if you were in charge of a city or a state or the country or your own company. What two or three things would you consider protecting your employees if you're running a business, if you're running the city, you're in charge of the city, state, country. What two or three things that you definitely will or would consider as far as the people? All right. And a couple of things that come to mind for myself was I'm thinking of this from the standpoint of protection. And then of course, I'm not saying let those two things be it and that's it. I'm just saying kind of start off with a couple of things and then you can start adding on and venturing off. So the two things for me that would come to mind, if I was, whether I'm running a business with it and I have employees, or I'm in charge of a city, I'm a mayor, or I'm a governor, or I'm the president, the two or three things I would definitely start thinking about is one, the public safety from attack, meaning strikes with weapons, plane attacks, anything like that, any type of terrorist attack, stuff like that. And then I will also consider the public's health. All right. Those two things I would definitely have, I would start having teams around for those. And I'm not saying that's the only two, but then from those two, I would then start branching out to other things as well. So you guys think about that on your own as well. As what things would you consider if you ran the country, if you ran the state, or if you ran the city? Just start off with two or three things you would definitely say, you know what, as far as the people's concerned, I'm going to make sure they're good on this. So like I said, with me, the first two things I would make sure is that you're safe from any physical attacks, and I would consider your health, not just in the form of insurance, but in the form of like this pandemic situation. So those are the two things I would start considering. Of course, I would add a whole bunch of other things as well, but I would start looking at that because you want to on them, and then it's kind of intertwined. You could say attacks. Well, no, it's not, because it's kind of and it's kind of not. Attacks from any type of physical harm, I would make sure, whether I'm running the city, whether I'm running the state or a country, I would make sure you physically won't get harmed, or if something goes down, we're able to strike back. And then I would make sure on the health wise, like in this instance, the pandemic, right? So I would make sure you are good on that. So I would definitely, have a team around me. And being I'm a type of person, I would research myself too. I would get in the mix a little bit, but of course you want people who are really thorough on those topics. And so I would consider that as well. And I said that because, like I said, it's starting to pop up now about 45 in his decisions to move on certain bits of information. So anyway, let's get back to this because I want to get to a couple of other websites. I don't want to stay too long on this document. But again, you guys can always Google this document up. So where are we at now? Let me see here. Okay. On 11 and 12th of January 2020, the World Health Organization received further detailed information from the National Health Commission, China, that the outbreak is associated with exposures in one seafood market in Wuhan City. All right. The Chinese authorities identified a new type of coronavirus, which was isolated on 7th of January 2020. They identified a new type of coronavirus on the 7th. On the 12th of January, you got China shared the genetic sequence of the novel coronavirus for countries to use in developing specific diagnostic kits. They shared the sequence. On the 13th of January, the Ministry of Public Health, Thailand, reported the first imported case of lab-confirmed novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV from Wuhan, Hubei Province, China. January 15th, the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, Japan, MHLW, reported an imported case of laboratory-confirmed 2019 novel coronavirus, all right, from Wuhan, Hubei Province, China. On the 20th, National IHR Focal Point, NFP for Republic of Korea, reported the first case of novel coronavirus in the Republic of Korea. All right, let me see here. What else we got? situation updates. So I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna go to something else. I'm gonna go to another timeline that you might find interesting. All right. Let me see here. Pull up. There's supposed to have been the Chinese doctor who was trying to blow the whistle. I don't know if you guys know about that or are aware of that. There was a Chinese doctor who was trying to. The stuff that I researched was one. I think he was trying to get on, or he did get on social media. I'm not sure. I can't remember. He either did or was trying to, and he was trying to put it out there like, "Yo, I'm starting to see something that's I'm not familiar with." And then, of course, the government tried to suppress him, and then all of a sudden he suddenly dies from coronavirus, which I'm not too sure that he died from that. I think he died because he was trying to blow the whistle. All right, let me see here. Let me make sure. Whoops. So, and this will you find interesting also. And then I'm going to show you some other stuff here you may or may not be familiar with as well. Let me make sure here. I think this is it right here. Alrighty, let's see. All right. All right, so you got a timeline, the early days of China coronavirus outbreak and cover up. All right. Hey, come on. All right. Now, here's what I was talking about. See, so the World Health Organization's document was starting theirs from December the 31st. But when you go to this site here, you see they going far back as December the 10th. So therefore, that's why you got to research more than one source. You kind of play around with some things, and then you can kind of piece stuff together. All right. So this is why I said I thought I might have been this document. It might have been this here that I was looking at because I said it had to been. I remember researching something as early as December the 15th, and here they got December the 10th. So on December the 10th, Wei Guizhan, one of the earliest known coronavirus patients, starts feeling ill. I don't know who this person is. I can click on the highlighted name and probably get some more details, but maybe we'll get into that here in a bit. All right, let me just check something out real quick. Y'all make sure y'all let me know if the screen goes blurry, because like I said, I don't know what's going on with my phone. Hey. So you got that, December 10th is as early as that. I don't know if that information reached the government in the US. But maybe it had and nobody's telling. That's a possibility. All right. So thanks, Dennis, for following me, yo. Appreciate it. All right. So on December the 16th, you have. Come on. Come here. Come on. Go over here and sit down. All right, y'all excuse me here. My dog is doing what he's supposed to do, He hears noises, he's gonna protect me. Come here. All right, so you got on December the 16th. Come here. All right, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's get back to business here. So you got December the 16th. Patient admitted to Wuhan Central Hospital with infection in both lungs, but resistant to anti-flu drugs. Staff later learned he worked at a wildlife market connected to the outbreak. All right. December 27th, Wuhan health officials are told that a new coronavirus is causing the illness. All right, so this is even earlier from the World Health Organization's documents. And so December 30th, A Fen, a top director at Wuhan Central Hospital, post information on, I think this might have been the doctor, I think. We're going to, no, actually the next one. But I remember this incident, or remember them talking about it anyway. A Fen, a top director at Wuhan Central Hospital, post information on WeChat about the new virus. All right, I think a lot of international people might use WeChat. She was reprimanded. All right, so this must have been a female. She was reprimanded for doing so and told not to spread information about it. All right. Now this is showing on December the 30th. Now the World Health Organization PDF doesn't show you that. That's why I had to make sure I go to another source and research another source. If I needed, I would have researched a third source. And actually, I looked up some other stuff, and this was some information that was talked about that the World Health Organization's document didn't talk about. So you got the Wuhan doctor. Now this is the doctor I was talking about, Li Wenlang, also shares information on WeChat. So you have two doctors or two maybe medical professionals or people in that realm who are sharing information on WeChat about the new SARS-like virus. All right. He is called in for questioning shortly afterwards. All right. That was December 30th. Okay. Their notes. Wuhan Health Commission notifies hospitals of a pneumonia of unclear cause and orders them to report any related information. Now we're going to get to the 31st, which is where the World Health Organization's document starts. They start theirs from the 31st. Okay, Wuhan health officials confirmed 27 cases of illness and close a market they think is related to the virus spread. All right. So then China tells the World Health Organization's China office about the case of an unknown illness. All right. So China, now let me go back real quick. Now that's the 31st. China finally tells them, the World Health Organization's China office, I guess they have different offices for to represent different countries, at least 2 weeks early known coronavirus patient starts getting ill. All right, but it's kind of odd that they worded that a coronavirus patient, but then somewhere in between here, I don't know. It seems like there was something. Now, okay, here where it says a SARS-like virus. So it went from them saying coronavirus that on the 31st, China decides then to tell, the China office for the World Health Organization decides to say, hey, look, we got a case of some unknown illnesses going on. Then on the first, doctors who posted information. We don't know how early they did. We know of 2 of them, right? But we don't know about the other. Okay. One doctor or some type of related professional, and then another doctor post on WeChat. All right. 8 doctors for questioning. An official at the Hubei Provincial Health Commission orders labs which had already determined that the novel virus was similar to SARS to stop testing samples and to destroy existing samples. All right. So what's up with that? Let me see that again. An official orders labs which had already determined that the novel virus was similar. So, and they told to stop testing samples and to destroy the existing ones. Chinese researchers mapped the new coronavirus on January 2nd. Complete genetic information. This information is not made public until January 9th. So it's evident, and this is something I heard on a few weeks back also, that people were already saying that China was trying to not tell anything and keep information. All right. I've heard that a few weeks back, that they were keeping, withholding information. So then on the 7th, Xi Jinping becomes involved in the response. I don't know if that's the president or not for China. I don't know. I think he is. China announces it has mapped the coronavirus genome on January 9th. And then between January 11th through the 17th, important pre-scheduled CCP meeting held in Wuhan. During that time, the Wuhan Health Commission insists there are no new cases. Interesting, right? First coronavirus on January 13th, first coronavirus case reported in Thailand, the first known case outside of China. All right. So let me go what I was saying earlier. I'm just going to pose that question. You can answer it if you want, or you can just think about it on your own. But once you received information, because I don't know if on this timeline they're going to mention whether or not they going crazy on TikTok, but whether or not they oops. Like I said earlier, whether I was a mayor of a city, whether I was governor or president, or even the CEO of my own company, once I started receiving, or even before that, what I would consider the two things out of many things I would consider, I should say like that, because it wouldn't be the only things I would consider would be my people's safety from physical attack, and then situations like this pandemic. All right, viruses, bacteria, stuff like that. So I would definitely have teams put together and plan ahead. Another thing I was thinking about and wanted to mention while showing all this is something that anybody can do, regardless if you're in government or not. You can do it at your own home. You want to start thinking of what ifs, all right? And just come up with these scenarios. Think about what if this happens, what if that happens. Of course, soon we'll be getting in hurricane season again, and you want to start considering that as well. So you start saying, depending on what area of the country you live in, you might have tornadoes frequently, you have hurricanes, things like that. And so you got to start thinking, what if this happens? Floods, think of these natural disasters, fires like in California, sometimes in Washington State. So start going through these what ifs with yourself, with your family. If you got to write them down, and then come up with responses to those what ifs. What if this happens? What would you do? What would you do if this happens? What would you do if that happens? And start making a little list of what you would do in the event certain situations happen. So even if your government is slow to move and you start finding out information, you will have a plan in place yourself. All right. So keep that in mind as well. Play the what if game, or play the what will I do if this situation occurred. All right. You can always prepare on your own with just that question alone to start opening up in your brain different ideas of what you can do in certain situations. So keep that in mind. All right. So let's move on here. You got first coronavirus case reported in Thailand, the first known case outside of China. Then on January the 14th, World Health Organization announces Chinese authorities have seen no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus. Again, unfortunately, you can't trust other governments, and you've seen in this timeline here, it seems like they was keeping a little bit of information. So, and it's probably they didn't want to look bad. Sometimes people are like that, they don't want to own up to what's going on, and that's just people for you, okay? So maybe they didn't want people to start looking at them real side-eyed because of what's going on in their country. But nonetheless, on January 14th of this year, 2020, Chinese authorities have seen no clear evidence, that's what they report or announce to the World Health Organization, no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus. On January 15th, the patient who becomes the first confirmed U.S. case leaves Wuhan and arrives in the U.S. carrying the coronavirus. All right, that's January 15th. Now, I bet you none of y'all knew that any of this was going on. You probably everybody is probably thinking of more recent now, within the last couple of weeks or so, and maybe sometime in February, but you didn't realize all this stuff was going on that early, and nobody, or at least we weren't being told about it. All right. So on January 18th, the Wuhan Health Commission announces 4 new cases. Annual Wuhan Lunar New Year banquet, tens of thousands of people gathered for a potluck. Now, they're doing all of that, right, with the Wuhan Lunar New Year, but yet you start going back on this timeline and they're getting all this information. So maybe they're not even telling their own people. They're just allowing them to go on and gather and do all these activities. These are these leaders for you, right? January 19th, Beijing sends epidemiologists to Wuhan. So Beijing, that's China, right, sends the epidemiologist to Wuhan. January 20th, the first case announced in South Korea. Now, I recall them, I thought it was a few weeks ago that I thought I heard them mention, and that's in February, about having their first case, but yet this timeline saying their first case was in January. But I swore, I don't know if you guys remember as well, but I thought I recall them saying that South Korea had a case like within a few weeks ago, their first case. So something, somebody's been holding out on some information. Anyway, January 20th, the first case announced in South Korea. And then you have Zhang Nanshan, a top Chinese doctor who is helping to coordinate the coronavirus response, announces the virus can be passed between people. So on, which one was it here? I think the 15th, January 15th. Nope, on the 14th, they say there's no clear evidence. Then you have about 6 days later, then they say, well, yeah, it can be passed between people now. That's already in January 20th, and this started from December 10th, 2019. All right, look at all that time that's passed. First coronavirus case in the United States. All that time has passed, and I don't know when our government received the information, but you have all that time passed and nothing done to mitigate, lessen the spread of this, right? So then you have the CCP flagship newspaper, People's Daily, mentions the coronavirus epidemic and Xi's actions to fight it for the first time. This is all January 21st of this year. China's top political commission in charge of law and order warns that anyone who deliberately delays and hides the reporting of virus cases out of his or her own self-interest will be nailed on the pillar of shame for eternity. All right, now the 23rd of January, Wuhan and 3 other cities are put on lockdown. Right around this time, approximately 5 million people leave the city without being screened for the illness. 5 million people leave the city without being screened for the illness on January 23rd. January 24 through 30, China celebrates the Lunar New Year holiday. Hundreds of millions of people are in transit around the country as they visit relatives. All right. January 24, China extends the lockdown to cover 36 million people and starts to rapidly build a new hospital. I remember them talking about that in Wuhan. From this point, very strict measures continue to be implemented around the country for the rest of the epidemic. All right. The bottom line, China is now trying to create a narrative that it's an example of how to handle this crisis when, in fact, its early actions led to the virus spreading around the globe. Okay? And so there you have it with that. All right, that's the timeline for the most part here. Let me see something here. Let's see what else they got here. Which is what I was saying earlier. They was, holding out on. Let me see if I could pull up. Let me look this up real quick here. I was going to pull up the doctor or one of the doctors that map real quick here. And so you guys, hopefully you can see the web address, and you guys can feel free to look it up yourself. Appreciate those 3 thumbs up, by the way. So coronavirus.jhu.edu. All right, in case you guys decide you want to check it out later. All right. And I'm going to, in a minute here, move my face out the way. John Hopkins, all right. So we're going to take a look at this interactive map. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this map, but you can always look it up on your own as well. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to exit myself out for a little bit so you'll be able to see the screen as it gets its load on. And again, let me know if you guys are seeing it blurry, because I'm using my cell phone, my other cell phone, as a monitor, and it looks blurry on there. But I remember Nancy saying that it was clear. So here's a nice interactive map you guys can take a look at, and you can always look at it on your own. I'm waiting for the center one because we can go through the other ones, but I wanted the center one to pop up. So while it's loading, there we go. Let me zoom in here. Let me open this up real quick. All right. Come on, let's load it up. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I think this is updated pretty frequently as well, too, because I remember looking at this a couple of days ago, and certain places didn't look like it's looking now. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here in a second, but just looking at it from where it's at, looking at Africa didn't have as much red dots, and definitely didn't have any big red dots. But now all of a sudden, looking at it now, it's definitely looking as if there's been some more activity going through Africa. All right. So let me just slide it over here. Then you got South America. Look at all that. The U.S. look like the U.S. is covered up. So when I was looking at this map a few days ago, South America and Africa appear to be less affected by any of this, but now it looks like they have even gained a little bit. So let me zoom in real fast here, see what we can get. Well, it looks smaller now when you zoom it in, but it doesn't look as many cases as other places here. So there you go. We're just going to scroll around a little bit, different locations. And I think, like I said, I think this gets updated pretty frequently. And I'm going to pull up another resource you guys can look up as well here in a little bit. So we're going through, as you guys can see, Italy, France, Madrid, London, UK. They seem to be covered up. Cases. You have one case here, there, in different countries, but nothing big in Africa. Even got one that looked like it's out in the water. I don't know what's up with that. So that's interesting. And I think you'll be able to tap on these cases too and be able to see. Let me see here. Let me see if I can tap on one. Let me tap on one in Algeria. Deaths. People who have recovered 65. Active cases is 148. All right. So let's look on over somewhere else here. Let's go where it appeared to have all started from. All right, there goes Wuhan. $990 confirmed, 6 deaths, 984 recovered. Almost as much that were confirmed has recovered. Interesting. Let's see. What else we got? Let's go to Korea real quick. Boom. South Korea has 8,000, or at one point, 8,961. 111 deaths, 3,166 recovered. Active, I guess now, meaning 5,684. All right. Just check out Japan, see what they working with. 1,128 cases confirmed, 42 deaths, 235 recovered out of the 1,128, and then active 851. Let's go across the border. Let's look at Iran, because I heard Iran had a high dose. Yeah, 23,000 in some part of Iran. 1,812 deaths, 8,376 recovered, 12,861 active. All right, so let's go on over. Let's see what else. Something, I forget exactly, Chono or whatever that is. I don't know what they're talking about, but they mentioning something about going in Africa to do something. So I don't know if that means cases are gonna. And look at Florida. There's the U.S. All right. Let me go up the East Coast. New York, New Jersey. Seems like it's kind of spread a little bit everywhere. Let's go over to the West Coast. There you go. It's a lot going on. All right, I'm just going to tap somewhere and see what pops up. So you got Washington, Georgia. Never heard of that. One confirmed. No deaths, no recoveries, only one active. Let's tap somewhere else in Georgia. Let's see what else they got. Oconee, Georgia. 3 confirmed, 3 active. Let me tap into Florida. Touch on Guyang. Where's that at? Let's see if I can find it. What part of the world is that in? Let me know. Orange, Florida. Yeah, let me know what part of the country that's in, and I'll Glenn, if you're still in here, let me know what part of the country, or anybody, where Guyang is. Let me look that up. I'll let you know here. Let me see what part. Part of the country. We'll get you covered here in a second. All right. Oh, that's China. Well, did you mean? Well, you saying Guyang is kind of spelled. You missing a letter if that's what you're talking about. That's another part of China. But I showed you how what it looked like in China. Pretty much, they are covered up. Now let me see if I can open it up more and see if we can find that Guyang. Let's see where. There you go. That might be what you're looking for right there. Six, Guyana. Okay. I'll get you in a minute. 146 confirmed, 2 deaths, 144, 0 active. Alrighty. So Guyana's in South America, if I'm not mistaken here. Take a look. So you have, let me zoom in a little bit more here. It looks to be right in somewhere in this area. Let me see if I can find the, you got French. Where's the French thing at? You got some more comments there or what? Okay, that's you. All right, let me see. You got Suriname. Where would Suriname be at? You got Georgetown, Venezuela. Let me see something real quick. This is what you're looking for right here. There you go. There you go. You got 20 confirmed, 1 death. Nobody's recovered yet, and you got 19 active. So that's that 20 confirmed minus 1 will give you 19 active right now. All right. There you have it right there. Like I said, I think this is updated every so often. So, but don't hold me to it as it being like the gospel or anything like that. But there you go. All right. So, like I said, originally there was. It appears that South America and Africa have the least amount of. It wasn't as much as I see it. I'm seeing it now, so it appears that it's kind of spreading, but not heavily as other countries are. So between them and Africa, so it seems that the warmer it is, I don't know if the temperature has anything to do with it. I don't know if the temperature is. Because whether you got Chinese friends or not, and we all know that not everybody's bad, but we sure or know that not everybody's good and on the up and up as well. So you don't know how much information was being withheld, not being told. And so one of the questions I was thinking about was whether or not this thing was really just an airborne thing, that it didn't even matter if it was you had to come in contact with anybody, if it was just airborne. Because to me, it seemed like a lot of this stuff is spread a little bit super fast. And then look at Canada. It doesn't look like Canada has a lot of cases. It's all spread out. But the U.S. is like covered up pretty much. And Canada has more like isolated. So I don't know if it's temperature related, from the heat and the cold. Maybe the colder it is, the less you might see that coming about. And then the hotter it is, might be the same as the cold. You might not get as many cases because of the heat. You know, these are just things me thinking and observing and, you know, coming up with these ideas based on where you see these things going on. Even Alaska. Alaska is supposed to be considered a colder area, and you don't have as much cases. Then again, I don't think it's not as populated either. So I don't know about Canada and their population as a whole. In the concentration of the population, maybe one area is more populated than others. Also, to be as looking at it from a critical, like you got critical thinkers, so critical observation. We don't know that if it's the cold that kind of keeps it suppressed. But there's loads of people in Africa. So I don't know if that would actually be the isolated, right? It could be that. You could look at it from that standpoint. Even Hawaii got hit. Let's look at them. Honolulu. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Some of those African countries are, it's very little cases. Like I said, I don't know. It could be a bunch of things. You know, you just got to think things through here. Well, Ethiopia has a case, looks like, but it's not a lot. 11 confirmed, nobody died, no recoveries. There's just 11 active right now. All right, you got South Sudan, Lagos. That's Nigeria. Well, that's Nigeria as a whole. They have a. It doesn't even show on the map. Let me zoom it in a little bit more. See what we can find. But yeah, to African Republic. Let me tap on there to see if I can even get something there. There you go. 3 confirmed in the Central African Republic. No deaths, no recovers. Only 3 active, which is the ones that are confirmed. You got Cameroon. They got 56, no deaths, 2 already recovered, 54 active. So Africa and South the least amount of, like the colder it is, the less cases you get. I don't know if it has to do with population, and I probably say it probably doesn't because Africa is pretty populated. I would say different parts of Africa doesn't appear to have any, or maybe they're not reporting it. You got to take in consideration some of these countries are not. All this in China. It's almost pretty much eaten up. And one place I hadn't heard anything about, and that's another. All right. So, but a lot of these European areas, man, Finland, Norway, Ukraine, France, Italy, Turkey, some martial arts if I can get connected with him. But he just did a video and it was showing in the stores that there was loads of food in the stores. It wasn't like people were grabbing stuff off the shelves. And I think people were just kind of staying at a distance between each other. But the way his video looks, it looked like nothing really going on. All right, so let me go on to another map or website. Hold on, let me exit out of here and pull up some other stuff from this site before I go on to the next one. There we go. Let me see what else is going on over here before I exit out and go somewhere else with it. Confirmed cases. Let's see what's going on with the confirmed cases here. All right. By region, 81,000 in China, 63 in Italy, 43,000 in the U.S., 35 Spain, 29 in Germany, 23,000 in Iran, 20 in France, 8,000 in South Korea, 8,000 plus, I should say, South Korea, Switzerland, 6,000 plus in the UK, 4,000 plus in the Netherlands. Yeah, Austria. I'll just go down the line for you guys to see it. Israel appears to have been hit. Don't hear too much about Israel either. Ecuador, Luxembourg, Pakistan, Poland, Chile, Thailand, cruise ship, whatever cruise ship, whatever that is. If they literally mean a cruise ship or all the cruise ships, or that's a country, I don't know. Finland, Greece, Iceland, Indonesia, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Qatar, India, Philippines, Slovenia. There's a lot out here. Egypt, Croatia, Argentina, Colombia, Lebanon, Iraq, Serbia, Dominican Republic, Kuwait, Taiwan, San Marino, Slovakia, Latvia, Lithuania, Hungary, Uruguay, Costa Rica, Morocco. And again, you guys can also look this up on your own. I think it's coronavirus.jhu.edu. And then you scroll down to where you see the interactive get out of here. All right. But I thought I'd just share this with y'all, man, because I don't know if anybody live data. All right. Let's see here. Okay, lay down.
Jaden.
All right, so that's the web. That's another site you guys can look up as well. And if you missed the website, you can always go back to the video. So here we go. Let me see what's your guys. All right. So quick facts. Something you guys can look up as well. Note, not all countries update at the same time. Updated a few seconds ago. Now I will say that this is probably legit because when I was looking at this earlier, right before I went on live, it did say 378,000. So it's now at 379. So I think they're legit as far as updating their information. How frequently, I don't know. I don't know if they do it by the hour or by a minute. But this site seems to be pretty much good on updating information. Total confirmed cases, then you got total deceased, 16,000. I don't know if this is worldwide. This may be world. Now here you can jump to a region if you hit the drop down, right? So you can always go by region there. It's just some more. Total countries infected, 173 over 195. All right. Let's see what else we got here. And I'm actually doing this in real time with you guys because I haven't really looked at all of this, just a little bit. But what I can say with this site, I don't know. I can't tell you 100% sure about the other site, but I think this site does update pretty frequently because when I looked at it right before I went on live with you guys, it did say 300. The total was 378,000, and now it's went up to 379. So I think they're pretty good on updating. And then they're giving you some more stats from country to country. Themselves as well. I thought I'd just share this out. It gives people some folks some perspective a little bit. Big U self my bass. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it's something good. All right. Maybe you tapped on some things real fast. Cases, 2 deaths, 29 recovered. Kuwait, 189. Let me see. Kuwait, what was that? 189. They have no deaths. But they pretty much update theirs so far. All right. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all. I hope this has informed you, and you can coming in, who checking out the show. And hopefully you've been enlightened by this information and it's helped you out, and maybe you can look up further research on your own, all right? Again, for those who listen to me on the, who are listening or will be listening to me on the podcast listening platforms. Right quick, I'm going to say them, and then, of course, I'll put the information in the description for those who listen to the podcast. So one of the sites is coronavirus.jhu.edu. That'll give you some stats. And then this site that I'm on now is NCOV 2019 live or .live/data. And you'll get another site there. So it's NCOV, that's the letter N, the letter C, the letter O, the letter V. The number is 2019, that's all one word, then .live/data. All right? That's for those who are listening to me on podcast platforms. I'm probably played on about 15 or so podcast listening platforms, by the way. All right? So with that being said, I appreciate you guys again. Be sure to share this video for those who are watching the video. And for those who are listening to the platforms, the podcast listening platforms, feel free to give it a good rating, especially after you do the research. All right? With that being said, I am out. One love. Peace. I'm gone. Be sure to check out the replay. Be sure to share the replay. For those who are watching, give me a thumbs up. Give me a like, something. If you don't like it, put that on there too. It's all good. All right? I appreciate y'all guys again. I'm out. Peace.